Leo, let's not dance around it. A big betrayal tied to money is heading your way, and it's closer than you think. In just 3 days, something will come to light that will challenge what you believed about someone close to you. And at the same time, an opportunity, financial, powerful, and potentially life-changing, will show up almost in the same breath. The two are not unrelated. You're not here by accident. Maybe you've been feeling it. That low hum of discomfort in your gut when someone speaks. That slight edge in their tone. The way your instincts tighten, even when your mind says, no, it's probably nothing. But Leo, when money starts flowing in or the promise of it, people change. Not all of them, but enough to shake your trust in ways that sting deep. And if this is already striking a nerve, good. It should. Because what's coming in the days ahead is not just about spotting a betrayal. It's about choosing what kind of life you want to live going forward and who gets to be part of it. That's not a small decision. But you don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to stay awake. Let's be real for a second. You've been steady. Loyal. You've let some people stay too long in your space out of habit, not alignment. You've been patient with people who never matched your pace. And while you've been watering everyone else's garden, someone's been quietly watching what you're growing and deciding how they might benefit from it when the time comes. I'm not here to make you paranoid. But I am here to tell you this: the energy over the next 3 days is going to expose what's been hidden. Not in a dramatic movie scene kind of way, but in subtle shifts. A glance. A missing reply. A comment that hits wrong. You'll feel it. And when you do, I want you to remember that your instincts are not dramatic. They're ancient. And they're right on time. Leo, you were never meant to stay small just to make others comfortable. And if your light is starting to burn too bright for someone, let them shield their eyes. Don't dim down. The version of you that's rising? They've been earning this moment in silence for years. If this is already resonating, if something in your chest feels like it's been waiting to hear this, then ignore that. It means you're exactly where you need to be. Take a breath with me. You're safe here. You're not alone. And while I guide you through what's coming, through the emotional terrain of betrayal, through the spiritual doorway that's opening, I want you to anchor yourself with intention. This isn't just another horoscope reading. This is alignment. This is timing. This is yours. If your heart's nodding quietly right now, I'd like you to pause and drop this in the comments. I'm ready to face the truth and release what no longer supports who I'm becoming. When you write it, you make it real. You let the universe know you're not hiding from the message, you're stepping toward it. And trust me, what you do with this moment will shape the way your next chapter unfolds. Thank you for being here. For showing up. For taking this message seriously. Every comment, every share, every bit of engagement is what allows this channel to keep going and keep growing. I don't take that lightly. Stay with me. What the universe is about to show you is extraordinary. And Leo, I mean it, you'll want to hear every word. It's strange how the universe works sometimes. You try to stay focused, do your part, mind your own lane, and then out of nowhere, you feel something shift. It starts quietly, maybe in your body, in your sleep, or in the way certain people begin acting differently around you. Leo, If you've been feeling that tension like a storm gathering right behind the horizon of your life, this is not your imagination. You're not being dramatic. You're picking up on a very real energetic shift that's building, and it's headed straight into your field between November 24th and 26th. Astrologically, we're stepping into a configuration that doesn't play small. Mars in hard aspect to the moon is no casual interaction, it stirs action through feeling. This is cosmic tension that doesn't stay on the surface. It works its way into conversations, reactions, decisions you didn't plan to make but suddenly do. With Mars representing drive, aggression, and raw momentum, and the moon symbolizing our emotional landscape, memories, and intuition, this alignment can cause emotions to flare, truths to blurt out, and suppressed patterns to boil up in full view. Add to that your natural Leo energy, bold, proud, radiant, and you've got a combination that can either burn bridges or light the way forward. It depends entirely on how you choose to meet it. Tarot confirms the same storyline. When the Tower and the Seven of Swords appear together, it's never by accident. This is the energy of sudden realization and hidden agendas finally coming to the surface. The Tower doesn't ask for permission, it shakes you loose from anything built on illusion. And the Seven of Swords? That's the card of silent strategy, of someone moving in shadows, of truths not fully spoken. Put them together, and the message is clear. Someone close to you has been positioning themselves quietly, and as your light grows, especially financially or publicly, they will struggle to remain hidden. Here's the thing most people don't say: betrayal doesn't always arrive with thunder and screaming. Sometimes, it's subtle. It's in the way someone claps slowly when you succeed. It's in the glance that lingers too long when you speak about your dreams. It's in the quiet withdrawal of support, the absence of real joy when you shine. And more often than not, the person who betrays us isn't some distant figure, it's someone who's memorized our rhythms. Someone who's been in the room long enough to know where we're most vulnerable. Think of it this way: when the sun shines too brightly, it forces people to squint. Your light, Leo, is intensifying. And some people would rather you stay half-lit because your growth confronts their stagnation. Your courage makes their hesitation louder. Your boldness reminds them of all the ways they've chosen safety over self-truth. And when money gets added to the mix, abundance, opportunity, recognition, it acts like a mirror. It doesn't create envy. It reveals it. This moment isn't about fear. It's about truth. It's about seeing what was always there, now unmasked. And as painful as that can be, it's also sacred. Because clarity is power. When you know who stands beside you with sincerity, and who only stands close when it benefits them, you get to choose again. You get to protect your energy with intention instead of assumption. You get to move forward without dragging the weight of someone else's silent resentment. Many of us were raised to be polite, to avoid conflict, to keep things smooth even when they feel off. But there's a line where compassion becomes self-betrayal. There's a point when silence stops being spiritual and becomes suppression. This week, that line will become very clear. Not to punish you but to free you. And while we're here, I want to say this gently, but clearly: if you're watching this during a season where you feel emotionally raw, like your trust has already been tested too much, know this: your sensitivity is not weakness. It's your compass. It's the very thing that will guide you safely through this energetic terrain. You're not falling apart. You're being recentered. You're not being attacked. You're being shown the truth in time to adjust your path. So stay grounded. Stay close to yourself. Pay attention to what doesn't feel right even if it looks harmless. Trust isn't just earned through words, it's revealed through energy. And energy doesn't lie. Let this moment be the clearing. Let it remove the shadows that don't belong beside you in your next chapter. Because what's coming, your growth, your expansion, your next breakthrough requires space. Not everyone can walk where you're going. And that's okay. You were never meant to carry the whole crowd. You were meant to lead with light, and let what's real rise beside you. So when the ground shakes, when the mask slips, when the truth knocks, don't run. Don't explain it away. Don't shrink to keep the peace. Stand in your knowing. Breathe. And remember, the storm isn't here to break you. It's here to reveal what wasn't built to stay. It's funny how blessings don't always show up alone. Sometimes, the very moment your life starts to shift in the right direction is the same moment certain people begin to reveal their discomfort with your growth. You don't even have to say anything, your energy changes, your mindset elevates, you begin attracting new opportunities, and suddenly, the room gets quieter. People start acting different. And the truth is, they probably were already feeling that way. You're just finally in a space where you can see it clearly. This phase is about financial movement. It's about the kind of abundance that's not just extra cash or a one-time gain. It's the kind of opportunity that shifts the foundation and investment, a project you gave up on long ago that suddenly reignites, or a door you thought had closed that swings wide open with something better than you expected. And you'll feel the shift. Something inside you will light up, not from anxiety, but from alignment. This is what you've been working toward, what you've been preparing for, whether you realized it or not. But here's where it gets real. When energy expands, it doesn't just attract blessings, it exposes imbalance. Think of it like turning the light on in a room that's been dim for too long. You start seeing what was always there. The dust. The clutter. The people who were only comfortable with you when you were playing small. That's what happens when wealth begins to circulate around you, when momentum builds. It stirs the energy of everyone around you. And not all of them are going to clap. Pay close attention in the coming days to how certain people respond to your wins. It won't always be loud. Some will smile, but it won't quite reach their eyes. Some will give you a compliment that sounds more like a warning. Others will go silent entirely, not out of busyness, but out of bitterness. It's the friend who doesn't return your call when you need support but magically reappears when you post a success. The family member who asks, "Are you sure you can handle all that?" when you finally start receiving what you deserve. What's happening isn't punishment. It's purification. The universe doesn't just hand you a breakthrough, it asks you to make space for it. You can't hold on to abundance and envy at the same time. You can't open your hands for blessings while still gripping people who drain you. This is the part people don't talk about when they talk about manifesting money. Manifestation isn't just about pulling things in. It's about letting things go. You may find yourself questioning your own success, not because it's not real, but because someone you care about is making you feel like it's too much. Like you're changing too fast, growing too bold, dreaming too big. But let me remind you of something simple. People who truly love you want to see you win. They don't flinch when your light shines brighter. They stand beside you, not behind you. If someone's shrinking away when you expand, it doesn't mean you're too much. It means they were never meant to walk this stretch with you. This moment is a filter. Not everyone gets through. And that's not something to grieve, it's something to bless. You are not being abandoned. You are being aligned. This phase is asking you to trust that what's leaving your life right now isn't a loss, it's a clearing. Because blessings don't land where bitterness lingers. Prosperity doesn't root itself in resentment. And freedom can't breathe in a room full of unspoken tension. So stay present. Keep your heart open, but your boundaries firm. Don't apologize for growing. Don't feel guilty for finally receiving. You've poured into others long enough. You've played quiet long enough. This is your season to rise, and to rise cleanly. Let the ones who can't handle your glow fall away without resistance. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to protect what's becoming. Because you're not just attracting money. You're building something that lasts. And what's meant for you will always stay. When you've been through enough seasons, wins, losses, quiet chapters, and sudden turns, you start to realize something that no book or teacher can hand you. You start to feel it deep in your chest. That the biggest choices in life rarely announce themselves with fanfare. They don't always come with clear signs and dramatic music. Sometimes, they come disguised as two simple options. One looks shiny, familiar, even flattering. The other feels smaller, quieter, maybe even inconvenient. But it resonates in a way that words can't explain. It feels like truth. Right now, Leo, you're approaching that kind of moment. And if you felt like the last few weeks have been building towards something, if conversations have gotten heavier, if you've been questioning where you stand with certain people, if your gut has been nudging you to pause and rethink, there's a reason. Life is setting the stage for a decision that will change the shape of your next season. Not because you're being tested, but because you're ready. What's tricky is that both options might look good on the surface. One might be dressed up as a big opportunity: money, praise, connections, a fast track to something you once thought you wanted. But beneath it, there's a pull toward compromise. You might have to shrink a part of yourself to keep the peace. You might have to ignore that little voice in your chest that's whispering, "This doesn't feel right." And that's where the real cost lies, not in what you gain, but in what you silence to get there. The other path might not sparkle. It might be inconvenient. It might mean letting go of something or someone you've been holding on to, even if it hasn't felt right in a long time. It might mean disappointing others who expect you to stay predictable. But here's what matters: this second option will feel clean. Not easy, but clean. You'll feel it in your body. In your breath. In that warmth in your chest that shows up when something is aligned. It's the same inner compass you've had all along. It just gets louder when the soul knows it's time to choose freedom over illusion. There's a quote I've always carried with me when standing at this kind of crossroad: not everyone who walks with you in winter is meant to walk with you in spring. Some people are companions for a chapter. Some opportunities are meant to teach you discernment, not become your destination. And knowing the difference isn't about being hard-hearted, it's about being honest. Let yourself feel everything that comes up. The grief of release. The fear of the unknown. Even the guilt of choosing what's best for you when others want you to stay the same. But don't confuse discomfort with the wrong choice. Growth rarely feels like certainty. More often, it feels like standing in front of a door you've never opened, knowing that whatever is on the other side is unknown but somehow still meant for you. This is a soul test, not because you have something to prove, but because your spirit is ready for more. Not louder, not busier, not faster but deeper. Truer. Aligned. The only way to walk through this is to listen not to the noise around you, but to what your body is saying when no one's watching. Is your breath shallow or open? Do you feel tension or ease? Do you feel cold in your gut or warm in your heart? That's your answer. That's the compass. You've always had it. This next chapter is not about chasing. It's about choosing. Choosing what supports your peace. Choosing what feeds your soul. Choosing who really sees you and who only sees what they can gain from standing near your light. So when the choice appears, and it will, don't rush. Don't overthink. Just check in. And then move in the direction of what feels real. What feels right. That's the way forward. That's where freedom lives. By now, Leo, you've probably noticed that this isn't just about what's happening around you, it's about what's shifting within you. After the revelations, after the choices, comes a sacred space. A kind of inner stillness that asks, now that you know what's true, what will you do with that truth? This is where destiny begins, not in the knowing, but in the activation. And activation isn't some grand, dramatic act. It's usually quiet, intentional, and deeply personal. That's what makes it powerful. There's something about rituals that help us ground into the moment. Not because the action itself is magical, but because it gives our energy direction. Rituals create rhythm. And in astrology, just like in life, timing is everything. The next 3 days are carrying a rare frequency, something we don't see often. Think of it as a crack in the routine, a portal opening just wide enough for you to step into a new version of your path. But that step won't be taken by accident. It requires presence. It requires care. It requires you to show up. The first part of this activation is simple: water. Not just because your body needs it, but because water holds memory. It listens. It carries intention. In the early morning, when the energy is still fresh and your mind hasn't yet been hijacked by the noise of the world, pour a glass of water. Hold it with both hands. Take a breath. And speak this truth into it: I, Leo, release all that no longer supports me. I open my heart to receive abundance, love, and truth. Then drink slowly. Not like a habit, but like a vow entering your bloodstream. Let it move through you. Let it remind your cells of the direction you've chosen. What this does is more than symbolic. It brings your body, your mind, and your spirit into agreement. Too often we try to manifest change by thinking about it, but we forget to involve our body in the process. When you drink your words, when you feel the temperature of your intention inside you, you're telling the universe, I'm not just dreaming, I'm participating. The second part is movement. It doesn't have to be bold or visible to others. But it has to be deliberate. Write down one small action that supports the life you're stepping into. Maybe it's finally answering that email. Maybe it's canceling a call with someone whose energy always leaves you drained. Maybe it's reaching out to a connection you've been too nervous to follow up with. It could even be deleting something from your phone that no longer represents who you are. What matters is not how big the step is. What matters is the direction. Movement creates momentum. And momentum, even the tiniest spark of it, gets the energy around you flowing again. The third part might be the hardest but also the most important. Protect your peace. For the next 3 days, avoid unnecessary conflict. Skip the drama. If something or someone tries to pull you into chaos, remember, not every invitation requires a response. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's how you hold space for the blessings that are making their way toward you. Because when you stay grounded, you create the stillness needed for your next level to arrive. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you're jumping between static and noise, you'll never hear the clear signal. But when you stay quiet long enough, the right frequency always comes through. There's something powerful that happens when you choose intention over reaction. When you stop trying to manage every outcome and instead choose to align with what's real. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's about understanding that sometimes, the most magnetic thing you can do is nothing except trust. Let the next 3 days be sacred. Not in a mystical sense, but in a conscious one. Let them be about alignment, not performance. Let them be a declaration that you're not here to chase, to force, or to prove. You're here to receive. But only when the vessel is ready. And you, Leo, are the vessel. You always have been. You don't need permission to shine. Not from your past, not from your family, not from the people who knew you in a version of yourself that no longer fits. If you've been feeling the pull lately, the call to step into something brighter, more honest, more aligned, this is your confirmation. That flame you've been holding inside? It didn't come from someone else lighting it for you. It's always been yours. You were born with it. The truth is, we spend a lot of time waiting. Waiting for approval. For the timing to feel perfect. For someone to say, it's your turn now. But the deeper you walk into your own growth, the more you realize, that moment doesn't come from outside. It comes from inside. It shows up when you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, when you stop explaining your dreams in a smaller voice so no one feels intimidated. It shows up the minute you look around and say, this doesn't nourish me anymore. I'm allowed to want more. And more isn't selfish. More is honest. It's the recognition that your light is not a problem to be solved, it's a gift to be protected. And Leo, of all the signs, you already know this. You've always carried a radiance that others feel before you speak. But lately, that radiance has been changing. It's not just charm anymore. It's purpose. It's clarity. And with that shift comes the responsibility of making sure your fire doesn't get smothered by guilt, by obligation, or by old stories that tell you who you should be. If this message finds you in a moment where you've been doubting that light or trying to dim it so someone else won't leave, let this be your turning point. You are not here to carry everyone's discomfort. You're here to embody the kind of courage that frees others to be more honest with themselves, too. And that starts with taking care of you. Not just spiritually, but physically, emotionally, practically. Take your health seriously. You don't need a full overhaul. Just simple things, like 5 minutes of stillness in the morning before the world gets loud. Breathing with intention. choosing foods that don't dull your energyless sugar crashes, more nutrients like magnesium and B6 that help regulate your mood and focus. Small shifts that add up to a calmer, clearer presence. Look at your work, too. Is it aligned? Or are you performing a version of success that no longer feels true to you? Realignment doesn't always mean quitting. Sometimes, it means doing the same work with a new perspective, one that honors your voice and your value. Other times, it means choosing the brave thing, pivoting toward what scares you because it also excites you. Trust that inner whisper. When it comes to money, remember, you're not just earning to survive. You're building a life that reflects your worth. That means being more mindful of emotional spending, planning long-term, and not apologizing for wanting financial peace. Wealth is not greed when it's rooted in intention. It's a form of self-respect. And finally, love. This part is tender, I know. Some people only know how to love you when you're struggling, when you're easier to manage. But the love that belongs in your life now is the kind that celebrates your glow, not tolerates it. If someone disappears when you start rising or starts questioning your shine, that's not your person. That's your mirror. And it's showing you the work you've already done to no longer betray your own light just to keep someone else from walking away. So, yes, this part of the journey may feel lonely at times. But it's not empty. It's sacred space. It's the ground being cleared for real connection, for aligned work, for a body and mind that feel whole, not just functioning. Let your light lead. Let it make people uncomfortable if it must. That's not your burden. That's their invitation to rise. And you? You don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting joy that's full and a life that feels like your own. You owe it to yourself to protect what's blooming. This is your time. And no one has to say so but you. You don't need anyone to choose you anymore. That part of your story has ended. From this moment forward, you are the one choosing yourself fully, unapologetically, without asking for permission. And maybe that's the hardest, bravest choice of all. Because when you stop waiting to be validated, you start walking into spaces that were always meant for you. When you stop hoping to be understood by people who don't even understand their own hearts, you begin the real work of aligning with your purpose. Everything you've heard today isn't just information, it's a map. A guide to remembering your own inner authority. And I know, some of it may have hit hard. Some of it may have stirred something in you, memories, emotions, clarity that was uncomfortable but true. That's good. That means you're not sleeping through your transformation. That means you're awake. You're present. And you're standing at the edge of something that could change everything if you let it. So let me ask you this, and really pause before you answer. If nothing was holding you back, no fear, no guilt, no obligation, what's the first thing you would do to set yourself free? Would you speak a truth you've been swallowing? Would you finally walk away from a space where your light is dimmed? Would you dare to say yes to something you've been secretly dreaming of for years? Write your answer below. Don't just think it. Type it. Claim it. Let it live in this space as energy, as intention, as your quiet contract with the future. Because when you say it out loud, even in writing, you're already shifting timelines. You're already calling in the version of you who doesn't just survive, but expands. And now, I invite you to repeat these words with meant as a whisper, but as a vow. Let it echo not just in your voice, but in your chest. I, Leo, choose myself. I release betrayal. I open the door to receive light, wealth, truth, and my divine destiny. Say it again if you need to. As many times as it takes to feel it land. Say it until it stops sounding like hope and starts feeling like home. You've walked through so much. You've held yourself up through more than anyone knows. And now, your time is no longer Kaminjit's here. Not because you begged for it, but because you became the kind of soul who could hold it. And if this message touched something in you, if you felt seen, softened, or stirred, then take a moment right now and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, I heard the call of destiny. Not for me, but for you. As a declaration. As a sacred pause in your busy day that says, I'm not walking backward anymore. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, Eternal Mindfulness. Because this isn't just a video. It's a space. A community. A living, breathing altar of insight and healing for those walking through change with open hearts and wild hope. Your light was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to lead. So let it. And always remember, the moment you choose yourself, everything begins to shift.